paying tribute to Mr. Marlon Smith, someone with whom I interacted during my days at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. And Madam Speaker, I want to ask God to strengthen his family as they go through this period of excruciating pain and anguish, and to let the family know that he remains in my thoughts and my prayers. Thank you. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to announce the government's plan through the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information to help our children recover smarter from the learning loss that they would have suffered over the past 15 months as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan, which will be institutionalized in the education sector, has three components: the National Summer School, the National Extra Lesson Classes, and the National Homework Program. First, Madam Speaker, let me wish all our students who are sitting the CSEC, CAPE, NCT VET, and other exams the very best. We acknowledge the conditions under which they have had to be sitting their exams, and we want to commend them for the resilience that they have shown. Madam Speaker, the Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan will allow for an improvement in the academic performance of students enrolled in the program over the summer period and during the school year to come. It will also provide academic enrichment activities for students through its intervention framework. Our response to teaching and learning since the confirmation of Jamaica's first case of COVID-19 in March 2020 has been the closure of all primary and secondary institutions as a means of curtailing the spread of the virus. This suspension of face-to-face classes meant that the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information had to develop strategies to ensure minimal disruption to teaching and learning for the nation's children. Through various public and private partnerships, the ministry was able to roll out a blended modality where students were engaged virtually through television and radio lessons, via learning kits developed and distributed to communities, and face-to-face classes when possible. Notwithstanding the ministry's efforts, there's evidence that approximately 120,000 students have not been consistently engaged. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are 120 students who were not engaged all the time. It could, students come in and out of that 120. So, Madam Speaker, we believe as well, even those who were consistently engaged may not have gotten the fullness of the teaching and learning experience. Without being addressed, these learning gaps are likely to adversely affect students' progress as they move throughout the system. The Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan is designed to support the ministry in identifying and addressing learning gaps and support schools in efforts to get students back on track with their studies. Madam Speaker, the Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan is the government's plan to mitigate the effects of the learning loss experience and is designed to guide school administrators or regions and the central ministry in development and implementation of strategies which are intended to assess learning gaps, improve student performance in core subject areas, reduce learning gaps among students in grades 1 to 9 so that they're able to function at grade level in core subject areas, improve the social and emotional well-being of all students through engagement in a character education program and the provision of robust psychosocial support, and foster and engender improved school, home and school, community relations through the inclusion of community-based programs and activities in the delivery of all intervention programs. Madam Speaker, the implementation of the Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan will take place using a bottom-up approach, beginning with the development of school-level plans, which are to be reviewed and approved at the regional level and supported through the provision of technical and financial assistance, both nationally. The framework to guide general curriculum management and the development and implementation of school-led intervention program is built on 3 key pillars. These pillars are academic learning and holistic development, capacity building, community and parent engagement. Madam Speaker, how will this work? All students in grade 1 to 9 will be required to sit the standardized diagnostic assessment. Students in grade 1 to 3 will sit diagnostic tests in mathematics, language arts, and integrated studies. Students in grade 4 to 9 will sit diagnostic tests in mathematics, language arts, science, and social studies. The diagnostic test is designed to indicate a student's level of understanding in response to each item on the test. There are 4 levels on the test. Level 1 is an indication of the fundamental gaps or lack of content knowledge. Level 2, basic knowledge of the content. Level 3, knowledge of generalizations of content. And level 4, correct response means the student is able to apply knowledge of the content or concept in the manner required by the diagnostic test. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that on completion of the diagnostic test, schools will receive the following information: an analysis of individual student responses indicating both the level of response provided to each item for each student and a summary of the total number of responses at each level for each student. Madam Speaker, the Recover Smarter National School Learning and Intervention Plan will be implemented through both face-to-face and online classes. The program benefits from teacher support platform, additional staff, including the ability to engage final year teacher training institution students for intervention support as needed based on the number of groups, online resources for students and parents, and government-funded in-person support in special cases. In terms of the National Summer School Program, Madam Speaker, this program will commence on July 5, 2021. The Ministry will begin the summer school program using already existing performance data on the students to guide the initial engagement of students. When the diagnostic test data become available, this will be used to further guide support for summer school and beyond. Tier 3 students are to be prioritized for face-to-face support, guided by tutors recruited for the program. Tier 2 students are to be facilitated online, guided by the classroom teacher, who may volunteer to assist, or by tutors recruited by the Ministry. Students will be grouped based on their tier levels relative to the existing data on performance and instructional needs. The Ministry will be partnering with the various service providers who will use their existing platforms to carry out the daily lessons and activities. The service providers engaged by the Ministry will identify, recruit, and deploy available trained teachers who are willing to participate in the initiative as tutors, available retired teachers who are also willing to participate as tutors, and available final year Teachers College students as assistant tutors. Madam Speaker, it's also important to note that a major component of the Recover Smarter National Extra Lesson National Homework Program, the Ministry, as a means of mitigating against the effects of the learning loss experience, is providing financial support for the implementation of the National Extra Lesson and the National Homework Support Program. The objectives of this program are to reinforce the regular day program by providing targeted opportunities for authentic learning and application, practice for skills and knowledge taught during the school day. enhancing learning by providing experiences that the school day may not be able to adequately supply, promoting a model of learning that can ignite the interest and curiosity of students so they can carry this excitement back to their regular classrooms, and building the confidence of the students, leading to improvement in day school class participation. The National Extra Lessons Homework Program will be delivered primarily via the online platform, which will be commissioned by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Service providers will be required to manage both online and face-to-face engagement. And I want to pause here just to commend my colleague MP Miller, who has already initiated extra lesson and homework programs in his constituency. And he called me recently, well before the development of this, to be online with one of his groups, and this happened at like 8 p.m. at night, and I logged on and they had all these students who were so engaged in learning. I think they were doing mathematics at the time. And I would implore my other colleague MPs, if you're not already doing so, to initiate such a plan as well. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information will be hosting a virtual town hall for our National Summer School Homework and Extra Lessons Initiative. The town hall meeting will be held tomorrow, June 30th at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's primarily targeted at our parents. And of course, I'll be on Dr. Grace McLean, our Permanent Secretary, Dr. Kassan Choub, our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Tamika Benjamin, our National Mathematics Coordinator, and Dr. Andre Hill, National Literacy Coordinator. We would have already engaged our school leaders at the JTA and others in the region. Madam Speaker, it is important that our students can recover smarter from this pandemic and the learning loss which resulted from not being able to be in the face-to-face environment, and for them to begin to make progress towards being higher achieving students. Madam Speaker, education takes time. Learning takes time. It is not enough for parents to simply send their students to school 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. with 45 minutes or an hour for lunch and all the activities that happen, and expect their children to be high achieving or high performing. Many of our parents with resources already know this, and that is why over the decades you would have seen parents pay for tutors for their children, because they know that what their child gets introduced to in the classroom needs to be reinforced. It needs repeated, and it needs time to be understood and assimilated into the child's learning. And so many of our parents who are minimum wage earners or a little better than minimum wage, they do not have that kind of resource to invest. And so the government has to make the investment in the summer program, in the extra lessons and the homework program, in order to move more of our students to be high achieving students. We know that these programs, the summer program, the extra lessons, the homework, will give students more time on task and propel them to higher levels. And we invite all the parents to help their students by ensuring that they attend the summer program and participate in the extra lessons and homework program in the new school year ahead. Madam Speaker, we will recover stronger and smarter. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, let me thank the Minister for her presentation on and an update on what's happening in education, in particular as it relates to summer school, but also the interventions that are planned over the